Have you ever been stuck in a negotiation where it feels like neither side wants to budge? Maybe you've been haggling over a salary increase or trying to settle on a price for a car. It can feel like a tug of war, right? But what if there's a better way? A way that leads to both sides walking away happy. Today, we're talking about the classic book Getting to Yes by Roger Fisher and William Ury, and how it can help you master the art of negotiation without giving in or damaging relationships. Most of us approach negotiations like a battle. Each side takes a position and digs in, refusing to back down. Imagine this scenario. You're negotiating for a raise, and you demand 10%, but your boss offers just 3%. The discussion drags on for days, and in the end, you agree to 6%. But neither of you is really happy, and your relationship is a little more strained. This is how negotiations often fail. Both sides are so focused on their positions that they forget what's really important: solving the problem together. Lesson number 1 from Getting to Yes. Separate the people from the problem. Let's say you're negotiating a rent increase with your landlord. You're upset because the building hasn't been well maintained, but your landlord feels they need to raise the rent to keep the property running. Instead of seeing your landlord as the enemy, focus on solving the real problem, figuring out how to keep the rent fair while addressing maintenance issues. This shift helps both of you stay focused on finding a solution, rather than getting caught up in personal feelings. By keeping emotions in check, you avoid damaging the relationship and work toward a win-win solution. Here's another key. Try to understand the other side's point of view. Picture this. You're negotiating with a client who keeps rejecting your proposal. Before getting frustrated, try to see things from their perspective. Maybe their budget is tight, or they have other offers they're comparing. Once you understand where they're coming from, you'll be in a better position to create a solution that works for both of you. Always take a moment to walk in their shoes before reacting. Now, let's talk about win-win solutions. Too often, we think negotiations are about winning or losing, but many times, both sides can win. For example, let's say you're negotiating a raise with your boss. You're asking for a 10% increase, but your boss says the company can only afford 5%. Instead of getting stuck in a back-and-forth argument, you look for a win-win solution. You propose accepting the 5% increase now, but with a performance-based bonus that could make up the difference if you hit key targets. This way, you're both satisfied. You get the potential to earn more, and your boss keeps costs manageable while motivating you to excel. By understanding each other's needs, you both walk away with a solution that works. Here's another powerful strategy. Use objective criteria. Let's say you're in a car accident, and the insurance company offers a settlement that's way too low. Instead of arguing back and forth, you insist on using market values and comparable sales to determine a fair price. By bringing in unbiased data, you avoid getting caught in emotional back and forth and find a fair resolution faster. Whenever possible, refer to standards that both parties can agree on, like market value, professional guidelines, or expert opinions. Let's dive into why blaming can be so damaging in negotiations. When we blame the other party, it triggers a defensive reaction. They're no longer focused on finding a solution, but instead on protecting themselves. This shuts down communication and turns the negotiation into a battle of egos. Imagine you're negotiating a new salary with your employer. If you start by saying, "I'm not getting paid enough because you've been ignoring my contributions," your boss is likely to become defensive. This approach makes it personal, and you're now working against each other. But if you frame it as a problem to solve together, the tone changes. For instance, you could say, "I've been taking on more responsibilities lately, and I think we should look at how that's reflected in my salary." Now you're collaborating on a solution rather than fighting. Remember, in negotiations, the language you use can either open doors or build walls. Avoid blaming and focus on creating a collaborative environment where both parties feel heard and respected. One of the most common reasons negotiations fail is due to vague or unclear goals. When you don't clearly express your interests, it leaves room for misunderstanding, which can slow down or even derail the negotiation process. Being specific helps both parties understand what's truly at stake. For example, let's say you're negotiating a job offer, and instead of just saying, "I want a higher salary," you explain, "I'm asking for $5,000 more because I've consistently exceeded performance targets, taken on additional projects, and brought in new clients." This kind of clarity leaves little room for confusion and shows the other side that your request is well thought out. Ultimately, being specific about your needs and encouraging the other party to do the same reduces the likelihood of a breakdown in communication. The more detailed and transparent both sides are, the easier it is to find common ground, build trust, and reach a mutually beneficial goal. In any negotiation, having a fallback strategy is crucial. Why? Because not every negotiation will go as planned, and you need to protect yourself from making decisions under pressure. That's where the idea of preparing for the worst and hoping for the best comes into play. Knowing your bottom line before entering a negotiation ensures that you're ready to walk away if necessary. This bottom line is the minimum you're willing to accept. It's essential because when negotiations heat up, emotions can cloud judgment, leading to hasty decisions you may regret later. If you don't have a clear fallback strategy, you risk being cornered into accepting a deal that doesn't meet your needs. Let's say you're negotiating a raise. You expect a 10% increase, but your boss offers only 5%. Before the meeting, you've decided that the lowest raise you'd accept is 7%. If your boss won't meet that, you're prepared to negotiate additional perks, like more vacation time or a performance bonus, or even consider looking for a new job. This preparation gives you control. Even if the negotiation doesn't result in the raise you hoped for, you walk away knowing you didn't settle for less than you're worth. On the other hand, if you enter the negotiation without a clear bottom line, you might feel pressured to accept the 5% offer just to avoid conflict. In the end, this would leave you feeling undervalued and frustrated because you didn't stand firm on your limits. So, the next time you find yourself in a negotiation, remember these strategies from getting to yes. Separate the people from the problem. Understand their perspective. Invent win-win solutions. Use objective criteria. Avoid blaming. Collaborate. Be detailed and clear about your interests. Always have a fallback strategy. By practicing these principles, you'll not only become a better negotiator, but also maintain stronger relationships and get to yes without giving in. If you found this helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and happy negotiating.